I'm hearing a lot about how AWS OpsWorks can make it easy to manage complete application lifecycles. Can you tell me more about it?
AWS OpsWorks is a flexible application management solution with automation tools that enable you to model and control your applications and their supporting infrastructure. You can manage the complete application lifecycle, including resource provisioning, configuration management, application deployment, software updates, monitoring, and access control.
How much control do I have on applications that are managed with AWS OpsWorks?
You can define the application's architecture and the specification of each component, including package installation, software configuration, and resources.
Will I have to start from scratch?
Templates for common technologies, like application servers and databases, are available as starting points, or you can build your own to perform any task that can be scripted.
What types of architectures are supported by AWS OpsWorks?
It supports a wide variety of architectures, from simple web applications to highly complex custom applications, and any software that has a scripted installation.
Does this mean I'll have to learn yet another scripting language?
No. AWS OpsWorks supports standard chef recipes and bash scripts. This enables you to leverage community-built configurations, such as MongoDB and Elasticsearch.
Can I maintain version configurations, like for our application source code?
Yes, you can use and deploy from common version control systems, like Git and Subversion, as well as HTTP and private or public Amazon S3 bundles.
Does it handle deployment and changes across running environments?
AWS OpsWorks provides dynamic configuration and orchestration that allows you to efficiently manage your applications over their lifetime, including support for automatic instance scaling and auto-healing. You can reproduce the software configuration on new instances and apply changes to all running instances, ensuring consistent configuration at any time.
Who is using AWS OpsWorks?
System administrators and ops-minded developers who need a powerful end-to-end application management solution use AWS OpsWorks. DevOps users who want better management and automation tools to help them customize and control their environments are also using AWS OpsWorks.
How does it work?
AWS OpsWorks lets you model and visualize your application with layers. A layer is basically a blueprint that specifies how to configure a set of Amazon EC2 instances and other resources for a particular purpose. For example, you might define a web layer for your application that consists of Amazon EC2 instances, Amazon EBS volumes, including RAID configuration and mount points, and Elastic IP addresses. You can also define the software configuration for each layer, including installation scripts and initialization tasks. When an instance is added to a layer, AWS OpsWorks automatically applies the specified configuration.
What types of software applications are supported by AWS OpsWorks?
AWS OpsWorks supports any software that has a scripted installation. It can be used to handle anything from simple single-server applications to multi-tier web applications.
Does AWS OpsWorks support DevOps principles and continuous integration?
Yes. Everything in your environment can be automated. You can specify not only how to deploy your code, but use chef recipes to configure the software on your servers and AWS APIs to provision resources. This supports pipelines from your source repository to your build server through to integration tests and production.
Will AWS OpsWorks allow us to build on existing resources?
AWS OpsWorks uses chef recipes to deploy and configure software components on Amazon EC2 instances. You can bring your own recipes or leverage hundreds of community-built cookbooks that can be used with AWS OpsWorks, such as PostgreSQL, Nginx, and Solr. For example, you can create an application that consists of multiple Python apps installed on Django, connected to a CouchDB database.
What technologies are supported by AWS OpsWorks?
It provides predefined layers for common technologies, such as Ruby, PHP, Node.js, Java, HAProxy, Memcached, and MySQL. AWS OpsWorks promotes conventions, but is flexible enough to let you customize any aspect of your environment. You can extend or modify predefined layers, or create your own from scratch.
So, what does AWS OpsWorks enable me to automate? Do I get any other benefits?
You can automate management actions, so that they are performed automatically and reliably. You benefit from automatic failover, package management, Amazon EBS volume RAID setup, and automatic rule-based or time-based instance scaling. Common tasks are automatically handled for you, and you can also extend and customize that automation.
What if my configuration needs to be changed?
OpsWorks supports continuous configuration through lifecycle events that automatically update your instance's configuration to adapt to environmental changes, such as auto-scaling events. With AWS OpsWorks, there is no need to log into several machines and manually update your configuration. Whenever your environment changes, AWS OpsWorks updates your configuration.
What operating systems are supported by AWS OpsWorks?
You can deploy your application in the configuration you choose on Amazon Linux and Ubuntu.
How much does it cost?
There is no additional charge for AWS resources supported by AWS OpsWorks. You pay for the AWS resources you create to store and run your application. For example, Amazon EC2 instances, Amazon EBS volumes, elastic IP addresses, and so on. As usual, you only pay for what you use as you use it. There are no minimum fees and no upfront commitments.
What about on-premises servers?
You pay for on-premises servers supported by AWS OpsWorks by the hour. There are no minimum fees and no upfront commitments.
Awesome! I think I'm ready to get started.
AWS provides free online training with a self-paced lab to get you started without having to open an account.
That's cool. How do I take the free training?
Before you get started, let me show you how easy it is to use AWS OpsWorks by logging into my AWS account and taking you through a sample. I'll create a simple PHP application server stack and deploy a PHP application to it during this demonstration.
That'd be great, thanks.
Anyone can sign up for a free AWS account and use the AWS Management Console. Here you can access AWS products and services such as AWS OpsWorks. Sign in to the AWS Management Console and open the AWS OpsWorks console at this URL: http://console.aws.amazon.com/opsworks. Click Add Stack. On the Add Stack page, in the name box, type a name, such as My Stack. The other settings deal with the location of your Amazon EC2 instances, such as which operating system is used, instance specifics, security settings, and configuration management. All those settings can be left as they are. To create the stack, click Add Stack. After you finish creating the stack, AWS OpsWorks displays the stack page. Click Add a Layer to add your first layer. In the Layer Type box, select PHP App Server. Accept the default Elastic Load Balancer setting, and click Add Layer. After you finish adding the layer, AWS OpsWorks displays the Layers page. In the PHP App Server row, click Add Instance. For this demo, just accept the default settings and click Add Instance to add the instance to the layer. Go to PHP-App1 under PHP App Server and click Start in the row's Actions column to start the instance. It typically takes a few minutes to boot the Amazon EC2 instance and install the packages. As startup progresses, the instance's status field displays the following series of values. Requested. AWS OpsWorks has called the Amazon EC2 service to create the Amazon EC2 instance. Pending. AWS OpsWorks is waiting for the Amazon EC2 instance to start. Booting. The Amazon EC2 instance is booting. Running setup. The AWS OpsWorks agent is running the layers setup recipes, which handle tasks such as configuring and installing packages, and the deploy recipes, which deploy any apps to the instance. Online. The instance is ready for use.
So is the stack running an app now?
To make My Stack run an app, you need to deploy the app to the PHP App Server instance. Let me show you how easy it is to deploy an app to your stack. You store an app's code and any related files in a repository, such as Git. Let me show you how to manually deploy an example app from a public Git repository to an application server. If you would like to examine the application, go to this URL. The application used in this example is in the version 1 branch. In the left navigation menu, click Apps. And on the Apps page, click Add an App. On the App page, specify the following values: the app's name, which AWS OpsWorks uses for display purposes. The example app is named Simple PHP App. AWS OpsWorks also generates a short name, Simple PHP App for this example, that is used internally and by the deploy recipes, as described later. The app type, which determines where to deploy the app. The example uses PHP, which deploys the app to PHP App Server instances. Data source type, an associated database server. Select None. The app's repository type. The example app is stored in a Git repository. The app's repository URL. The example URL is as shown here. The app's branch or revision. This demo uses the version 1 branch. Keep the default values for the remaining settings and click Add App. To install the code on the server, you must deploy the app. To do so, click Deploy in the Simple PHP App Actions column. Command should already be set to deploy. Keep the defaults for the other settings and click Deploy to deploy the app. When deployment is complete, the deployment page displays a status of successful, and PHP-App1 will have a green checkmark next to it. Simple PHP App is now installed and ready to go. To run it, click on Instances in the left navigation menu. Then click the PHP-App1 instance's public IP address. The web page will display a simple message of congratulations.
What if I no longer need this application? Will I still be charged for the created resources?
To make sure you are not charged, you can clean up your resources by deleting the stack. In any case, it is good practice to delete resources that you no longer need. Let's go back to the AWS Management Console and I'll show you how easy this is. Before you can delete a stack, you have to delete the apps and instances deployed by it. To do so, switch back to the OpsWorks console window. In the left navigation menu, click Apps. On the Apps page, in the Simple PHP App row, click Delete, and confirm by clicking Delete again. In the navigation drop-down, click Instances. On the Instances page, in the PHP-App1 row, click Stop, and confirm by clicking Stop again. Wait until the status of the PHP-App1 instance changes to Stopped, and then click on Delete in the Actions column. Navigate to My Stack and click Delete Stack. When prompted, click Delete. The stack will now be deleted. Go to run.quicklabs.com to try it out with a free self-paced lab. While you're there, check out the other free AWS Introduction training to learn about more AWS products and services. You can play around without having to open an account.